Good morning, everyone. Today we will see closest pair problem using divide and conquer approach. What is closest pair problem? There are n number of points in a two-dimensional space. We are finding the closest pair of points among n number of points. The closest pair represents the distance between 2 points should be minimum. That is closest pair. Which pair has minimum distance? That is called closest pair among n number of pairs in a two-dimensional space. And how to solve the problem? Closest pair problem can be solved using brute force approach and divide and conquer approach. When we solve closest pair problem using brute force approach, time complexity is more, that is order of n square. When we apply divide and conquer approach, the time complexity is reduced from n square to order of n log n, which is better than brute force approach. What is closest pair? Problem statement. There are n number of points. Each point has two coordinates. See the diagram. There are two coordinates, x coordinate and y coordinate. Each point has two values, that is x coordinate value and y coordinate value. We are going to find the closest pair. The distance between 2 points should be minimum. So how to find closest pair? Using brute force approach. Every pair of points are considered. Find the distance between every pair of points and find the minimum distance, that is closest pair. It takes order of n square because we are using two for loops. First for loop taking points one by one from n points, and second for loop finding the distance from 1 point to remaining n number of points, or n minus 1 number of points. So we will use two for loops. The order of time growth or time complexity will be n square. And when we apply divide and conquer approach, the time complexity is n log n. Next, we will see how to get order of n log n. And brute force approach uses the formula, Euclidean distance formula. We know the formula between to find distance between 2 points P1 and P2. That is square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Algorithm. Here we are taking every pair of points. Take 1 point, that is combined with remaining n minus 1 points. Like that, they are taking every pair of points in a solution area, and we are finding the distance between every pair of points by using Euclidean distance formula. And when we calculate the distance, keep track of the minimum distance. When we calculate the current one compared to the previous one, which is minimum, that can be recorded, maintained throughout the algorithm. So keep track of minimum distance that will be and the corresponding pair. Which pair gives minimum distance that should be maintained till or verifying every pair in the solution space. So this is closest pair problem using brute force approach. Time complexity is order of n square. See the diagram. There are n number of points. So the color red color point, 2 points is the closest pair. Between these two pairs, the distance is minimum compared to other pairs. So brute force approach applies Euclidean distance formula for every pair. That is time complexity is order of n square quadrant. Next, we will see divide and conquer approach. How we can reduce the time complexity from order of n square to order of n log n by applying divide and conquer approach. So the time complexity is order of n log n. Here, what we can do is, what is divide and conquer approach? Generally, the problem is divided into number of sub-problems, and the sub-problems are solved recursively or individually. Then the results of sub-problems are combined to get the solution to the original problem. And there are three steps: divide, solve, and combine. These three steps are applied, and recursive concept process is applied to find the closest pair using brute force divide and conquer approach. Divide and conquer approach, which is better than brute force approach. Here, it applies recursive algorithm, recursive nature of problem. Divide and conquer is based on the recursive approach till we are dividing the problem till we have a single size unit of problems. Then combine the solutions to get the solution to the original problem. So the divide and conquer approach is executed based on recursive algorithm. And how recursive algorithm works to find closest pair. First, divide step. The set of point is divided into two subsets, two halves, left side and right side, by a vertical line. The line splits the points into two areas, left side and right side. And conquer. Conquer is finding the solution, solve. Now, apply recursive algorithm to find the closest pair in each area. What's the closest pair in left side? What's the closest pair in right side? So the closest pair, the distance D1, that is the minimum distance in left side. D2 is the distance between closest pair in the right side. So we are finding T1 in the left side, T2 in the right side. Then combine the solution of two subproblems, left side and right side, to get solution to the overall endpoints. Then when we combine the solutions, we are taking one point, that is, we are having one vertical line that divides the points into two subproblems, left and right. So in this case, there may be some point pair, one point in one side and another point in another side. So that is not considered in this approach. So next, what we are doing is we are finding the minimum of closest pair distance in the left and the right. So that is called D. That D distance is taken from the vertical line to the left and right. So the points which are available in the left side from vertical line in d distance, from vertical line to right side in d distance, that points are considered. We are making pair one point in left side and one point in right side with the distance d. Then we are finding the closest pair. So among these three parts, left side, right side, across the line, which pair gives the minimum distance, that will be the final result. That is called strip check. One point in left side and the one point in right side. So that across the line, we are taking the path with the minimum distance, that's also considered. The result. The overall closest pair is the minimum distance found in the recursive steps, that is the left side and the right side and along across the vertical line. And how algorithm works. So take D1 in the left side. D1 is the closest pair, distance in left side. D2 is the purple color, closest pair distance in the right side. And so among these two, D1 and D2, find the minimum value, minimum of D1 and D2. That is calculated as assume that is D1. So from the vertical line, middle point, that divides the points into 2 points. It's called vertical line. From the vertical line, we are taking D1 to the left and D1 distance to the right. So within the distance, D1 plus D2 across the vertical line, all the points are taken. So we are finding every point in the left strip to the every point in the right strip. So find the closest pair. So among these three, left side closest, right side closest, and across the middle line closest, find the closest pair. That is the final result. And steps to find the closest pair. Divide. Divide the points into subproblems. Initially, all points have two coordinates, x1 coordinate and y coordinates. Sort the points based on the x coordinate and divide the points into two halves. That is divide point. Again, the conquer or solve step, recursive function closest pair is used. The input is set of points in left side and a set of points in right side y. Points in left side, points in right side. That is given as input to the closest pair algorithm. If the number of points is less than or equal to 3, brute force approach can be used. When we apply divide and conquer approach, minimum number of points should be 4 because we are dividing into two sub-problems. At least we need 4. So that can be 2 in one part, 2 in another part, so we can find the closest path. If number of points is less than or equal to 3, we can't apply divide and conquer approach, we have to go for brute force approach. If number of points greater than or equal to 4, we can go for divide and conquer approach. In that case, divide the points into left side area and right side area, two halves, and recursive algorithm. So, pass number of points in the left side, closest to pair algorithm, that is DL. DL is the closest to pair distance the left side. And again, recursive algorithm for right half, that is DY is the closest to pair in the right half. And this process is repeated until we found all the points. And after this recursive, once the recursive algorithm is closed, we are finding the minimum of closest pair in the left side DL and the closest pair in the right side DY. Minimum of DL and DY is assigned as D. That is the closest pair in the left or right. And yeah, when we combine the result, we are checking the strip point. That is a vertical line that divides points into 2 points, 2 areas. So see the diagram, and first part, the left side, GL is the closest pair in the left side, and GR is the closest pair in the right side. And we are finding the D, the minimum distance, minimum of DL and DR, that is D distance. See the diagram, second diagram, from the vertical line, we are taking D distance to the left from the vertical line and D distance to the right from the vertical line. So from the vertical line, D distance and D distance, 2D distance are considered, and find the closest pair between points in left side strip and the right side strip. So take every point in the left side strip, combine with the right side strip, find the closest pair. So among these three, closest pair in the left, closest pair in the right, closest pair along the vertical line or the strip, that is which one has the minimum distance, that pair will be selected as a final result. Uh, See the steps. Create a strip of points within D units from vertical line separating two halves, two x side and two y side, and sort the trip by y coordinate. Return the smallest distance found from the left half, right half, and across the strip. That is the closest pair. And the conclusion part, we can solve closest pair problem using brute force approach and divide and conquer approach. When we apply brute force approach, time complexity is order of n square. When we apply divide and conquer approach, time complexity is order of n log n. So, order of n log n time complexity is lesser than order of n square. So, divide and conquer approach for is better than brute force approach for solving closest pair problem. Then, what are the applications of closest pair? Where they can apply? There are so many applications. First one, geographical mapping and GPS. So, finding the distance between two cities or two locations or two landmarks. There are n number of landmarks. We are finding the closest distance, closest pair for delivery. So, these type of applications can use closest pair problem. And astronomy, identifying the closest pair of stars, planets, and finding the shortest distance in the galaxies or satellite in space. And the third one is robotics and part planning. So the here it used closest pair problem to avoid object collisions. To avoid object collisions. So identifying the nearest obstacles or robots or and key motion planning problem. So how the robot can be moved without hitting other objects, obstacles in the path. So for path planning algorithm, the closest path problem can be used. And in the case of computer graphics and vision, the image or data sets or objects, anything. So we can find the closest pair of objects, or in the case of clustering, when we find the closest pair of points in the image matching, cancer identification. So that can be used for finding the closest pair. So this problem can be used in computer graphics and visions. Thank you.